Hey everyone, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in to Relevant Jukebox, and today we're going to talk about the newest album from Black Lips, Sing in a World That's Falling Apart. So this is the 9th studio album from the prolific garage rockers Black Lips, and they're one of those bands that I feel like doesn't get talked about too much in music circles nowadays. They actually hit a really nice stride in the mid to late 2000s and put out 3 really great records, with Good, Bad, Not Evil, 200 Million Thousand, and Arabia Mountain. All 3 records I highly suggest listening to if you have not already. And over the course of their discography, they've experimented with different sounds and styles of rock. And each one of their records usually has like a unique aesthetic to it that separates it from the other and gives it its like own sound. Their last record, Satan's Graffiti or God's Art, was a pretty decent record, but didn't really showcase Black Lips experimenting more with that sound. And they've been absent for 3 years now, and here they are back with a new full-length album and a completely overhauled sound into a more country direction that's also taking a lot of influence from like blues rock and some folky like Americana stuff as well. Now, one quality of Black Lips music that usually does run throughout all of their records that they release is this like drunken mess kind of aesthetic to it. Occasionally the performances can kind of feel loose, the vocals can get a little bit sloppy at times, and there's usually this like rebellious kind of like uplifting energy in a lot of the melodies that they write that give you this feeling like you're rooting for Black Lips to pull out this great victory or something. And that drunken, lovable mess feeling does translate into this new record over here for their country direction. And it ends up feeling like you're like at a bar down in the bayou or something, drinking moonshine with your friends, having a good old time or something. Now, I'm not really too huge on country music overall, and I was really curious after hearing the singles to this record to see how Black Lips would put their unique spin on the genre. And for the most part, the Black Lips aesthetic does translate well, like I was saying before, but what really works for them on this album for me is their vocalist, Cole. I think his voice is a really good match for this kind of twangy aesthetic that they've got going on here. His voice is a little bit more grim and rough, and it kind of sounds like he's been smoking cigarettes his whole life. And what also is really awesome on this record is a lot of the like sing-along type choruses that they pull out on these tracks. I'm really digging on the opening cut, Hooker John. There's a really nice groove that they hit on this track with these like plucked and twangy kind of guitars. And there's this like weird little like whoop kind of like sound that's kind of layered into the mix too that gives it a little bit more flavor. And Cole's vocal performance is great on this one as well, and kind of self-aware to that drunken mess aesthetic, how he's like burping at the end of the track and stuff. But there's also a really catchy chorus on this one. One huge standout on this record for me was the single Gentleman. I think this is one of the best Black Lips songs to come out in a long time, actually, with a really great chorus on this one. And Cole's talking on here how he wants to clean himself up a bit from his usual appearance and be more gentlemanly for his girlfriend, who can't really seem to like introduce him to his parents because of it. And there's a really great build that happens towards the latter part of this song that carries the track out, makes it really grand. Tracks like Rumbler, Angola Rodeo, and Odelia are some really fun spots on this record. All are really some upbeat jams on here, and the track Angola Radio has this like swing to it, very similar to like a Chuck Berry song or something. And I'm also really loving the saxophones that they're incorporating into the mix on this track. The song Get It On Time is a really good like slower cool down moment on the record right in the middle of it. I'm really loving the like drippy guitars on this track and how it builds up and gets a little more tense as it goes. And all of the instrumentation on this one really do give me a lot of like Velvet Underground vibes, honestly. So I actually really enjoyed this record. Going into it, I wasn't really expecting to. Not every track on here struck a chord with me though. Some of the cuts on here just pale in comparison to the others in my opinion. I'm talking about tracks like Chainsaw, Holding Me, Holding You, and even the closing track, Live Fast, Die Slow. But I gotta give it up to Black Lips here, pulling all this together and going into new territory, exploring a new genre, and experimenting with their sound again, somewhat even more than they have in the past in some ways. All of this is tied together with that signature, lovable mess aesthetic that you'd expect from Black Lips. And I mean, hey, they got me to really enjoy a country record, which I never really thought I could really say. And with that being said, I'm feeling an 8 over here on this new Black Lips record. So if you're interested in picking this up on a vinyl, Black Lips actually changed up their record label for this album. Fire Records does have a limited red translucent pressing that has a die-cut heart cover on it. I'm gonna leave links down below if you guys want to grab that. And when that sells out, there is a standard issued LP. So if you listen to this Black Lips record, what did you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you like this video, I'd really appreciate if you hit that like button so more people can see this and share it. And if you want more content from me, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Peace.